Well, this week, we're back out at Jay Leno's shop. I let myself in the back way, I always do. It's always fun to see what he's got going. This is something I've never seen. This is like a mid-60s Honda S600. Man, this is so cool.
Excuse me, can I help you?
Hi, Jay, how you doing?
Dennis Gage.
Yes.
My secretary thought she said Nicolas Cage. It's Dennis Gage.
It's close enough.
I got dressed up for nothing.
And you look marvelous, absolutely marvelous.
Well, thank you. Well, yeah, this is an S600 with 600 cc's, 57 horsepower, 9,500 RPM redline. A wonderful car, never imported here. But we're not here to talk about it. I told you.
It's right.
I told you we'd do this when it's finished. As you can see, it's not finished. We're going to go back to our roots today. We're going to go back to the beginning of automobile, steam cars. Come on over here.
I'm scared of steam. I'm always scared of steam. Ooh, back to the roots.
Yeah, this is a 1907 white steamer. This car is, well, I guess it's his birthday. It's 100 years old.
Wow.
And it's interesting, you know, because we've reached the point with automobiles now where we're at the second stage of restoration. This car was restored in 1950. It had been in a museum from about 1930. It was pretty much all there. It's got the original upholstery and everything.
Wow.
It was restored in 1950. Then the man I bought it from bought it, I think, in the maybe late 70s, early 80s. Then he passed away about 7-8 years ago. And the car has been sitting. It's basically a sound car. It's just a little worn out. We had to make some new pieces. We had to fix some leaks. You know, with steam cars, it's imperative that there are no leaks, because anywhere steam escapes, you're losing horsepower. And a car like the white steamer, which is much more sophisticated than the Stanley, because everything, you have a water regulator, you have a thing called a flow motor that turns the gas and the steam on and off and regulates the amount of water. Whereas the Stanley is just a big tea kettle. You light it, you get steam, you run until the steam runs out, you heat it up again. Whereas this, you're only heating up a quart of water at a time. It's a 2-cylinder compound engine.
It's a bigger car than most Stanleys. This is a massive car.
This thing cost more than a Rolls Royce when it was new. It's really sophisticated. It's built by the White Sewing Machine Company. They made sewing machines, and they brought the same precision to their automobiles that they brought to their sewing machines.
Where was that? That was
Cleveland, Ohio. The engine's right in here. It's not the prettiest looking motor.
No. But steam motors never are.
But no, they never are. They never are. But it's got all kinds of things you don't have in a gas vehicle. You've got this piston in here that keeps, if you get a water hammer, that'll absorb some of the shock.
What's a water hammer?
That's when, you know, you ever have that in, maybe in your apartment or your house, you turn on the water real fast, the water starts hammering. Well, that's what happens. You get that in this too, because all that is there's water constantly flowing through this thing. Unlike a Stanley, most steam cars are direct drive in the sense that there's so much torque with steam, you just open the throttle and go. This has a 2-speed transmission, a high and a low, although you rarely ever need low unless you're climbing a hill. You can put it in neutral, and no, that's a condenser. See, a Stanley, you fill with water, it uses the water, the steam goes out the back. When you drive a Stanley, there's big clouds of steam behind you. With this, there are no clouds of steam behind you, because what this does is it takes the steam, uses it, circulates it, puts it back through the condenser. These rods, as a fan, the steam is cooled, turned into water again, and you use it over and over again. Yeah. So it's pretty sophisticated. Gas lights. I guess we're pretty close to.
You know, I see all this open space under this, and down to what looks to me to be the block.
Yeah.
Those are the pistons. Those are the pistons.
Yeah. That's a little air pump that pumps up fuel pressure.
Welcome back to My Classic Car.
There's not a floor here, and a lot of your steam
there
cars,
is a floor.
But you take it out to do the work, or
well,
what?
I have the floorboard out because we made a new thermometer coupling, for lack of a better word here. There's a rod in there that was copper, and what happens, it gets hot, and that expands and opens that valve and lets water flow through. We took the copper rod out. We used a brass rod. I think brass expands a little better than copper, and we're going to try that and see if it opens and closes a little better than the original brass rod.
Well, now, gauging-wise, what comes with the white?
Okay, here you got your pyrometer. This tells you your steam temperature.
Okay.
You want to run about 750 degrees. You want superheated steam. So if you get burned real good. Really but superheated steam gives you almost twice as much power as just regular steam.
Okay.
Okay, that's that. This here, This is your steam pressure. You want about 600 pounds there. That's your fuel pressure. And this here fluctuates to let you know when your fire is going on and off. We pulled the boiler, the steam generator as they call it, out because it had a few breaks in it. It was just, everything was filled with rust. So the combination of not knowing how it works, plus it's being rusty, made it a bit of a challenge. Now we've cleaned everything, we've taken everything apart, we've made some new fittings. We're going to try and run it now and see what happens.
Where do you learn all this? I mean, I'm always fascinated by. I'm confused by steam, frankly.
Well, you learn by burns.
I'm scared of it. I'm scared.
You learn by burns.
Yes, I don't like that.
You count the number of burns on your hand. You go, well, he must know how to do it now. And if your hand is eventually gnarled, then you don't know how to do it. But this one you could start with a match. First thing we want to do is
get the fire extinguisher close by. Let me get that by.
What I'm going to do is first open this valve here.
I always like having the fire extinguisher close.
Notice I'm using antique matches as well. You want to have the full. I should have wooden stick matches, but we'll see what happens here. We're going to let that burn a little bit. What this does is that gas collects in there. It's just a tray of gasoline burning that gets your pilot light nice and hot.
Yeah, and that's hexane, or what is that?
That's hexane in there now. Hexane's a very low carbon fuel, so it doesn't gum up the pilot. And that takes a few minutes. You let that warm up. You have a cup of coffee. You visit with your family.
Toast a couple of marshmallows.
See, I would do that to a little more fuel in. Now you can see the past history of letting too much fuel in. You also have the distinction of actually sitting on the fire.
That's nice.
On some of the other steam cars, the fire is behind you or in front of you. This you actually get to see on it. So
on top of it.
You use what they call a batockle meter. If the batockle area becomes warm, then you realize
it's probably too hot.
It is probably too hot. It's probably exactly.
Batockle meter. Woof.
No. Okay.
There's some of that.
Okay, that's a little too hot.
Would you like a little?
Now you want to put your.
You do this to me every time, man.
Let's do it. A little too much. There we go. All right, there we go. Lovely fire.
Yeah. It's not raining fire like it was earlier.
And once this gets nice and toasty, it's virtually foolproof.
Virtually foolproof.
Okay. We have pilot.
Okay, so that's the pilot.
That's the pilot. What I'm going to do now is drain any water out of the bottom of the crankcase. You won't need the fire extinguisher
I'm
for
keeping
that.
my friend close by.
All right. See what happens after the car sits for a while, the water separates from the oil.
And there's the oil.
Yeah, you want to drain it out. There's the oil.
Pretty thick oil.
600 weight.
That's thick.
Can't be in a hurry with these things.
Not a good getaway car.
Well, this thing hasn't run in quite a number of years. I'm opening the starting valve. See, we're still a little wet here, so this may backfire.
Where's that fire extinguisher? Let me.
It's okay.
Good steam men have no eyebrows. Oh, you big baby.
Exactly.
Put that down.
Mustache wax. Mustache wax is flammable.
Get it running. That's overflow.
Sure it is.
Okay, starting valve shut off. Are we running? Pretty neat, huh?
That's pretty wild.
Welcome back to My Classic Car.
There's not a lot to hold on to here, Jay, you know?
No need to hold on. It's so comfortable and safe.
Yeah, right. It's steam.
That's good, Bernard. We're dropping and we're picking up steam.
Bernard, Jay's master mechanic, was along at my request to make sure nothing catastrophic happened. To either me or my mustache, that is. Hey, this car is 100 years old.
That actually runs pretty good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. When you're constantly fearing for your life.
You know, if you're not driving crybabies around, it's actually a very enjoyable car.
Why? How's that brake thing working for you?
There you go. See, what's sad is not where you're going, steam cars. It's just the fact that you're physically able to get there.
At all.
At all. Is what makes it fascinating. But she can do 50, 55.
Yeah?
You don't want to be in it when it's doing it.
But it is possible.
Don't forget, there's no shifting to do, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You know, with a gas car, oh, you stall, your mag, your choke, your carburetors.
Now, did things, boiler cars like Stanley's blow up once in a while? I mean,
No, Stanley has never blown up.
They've never blown up.
The only case of the Stanley blowing up had nothing to do with the Stanley. What happened was a horrible accident at Knott's Berry Farm. A guy had converted his Stanley to run on propane rather than fuel. He opened the gas gauge on a day where there was no wind. There was just zero wind at Knott's Berry Farm. And somebody distracted him. He stood there for 10 minutes talking.
With the gas blowing.
Yeah, then he lit a match,
Oh.
and the gas stayed in there, and seriously, I think it killed a couple of people. But no Stanley has ever blown up. Go, little Herkimer!
On you Huskies.
Welcome back to My Classic Car.
I think you have to be careful about letting your guard down around these things.
This one's pretty good, actually. We went about 50 miles the other day and didn't have any problems.
I think it maybe it's the fact you're always pumping things and grabbing things,
Well, most of the problems have to do with old age. Metal deteriorates, you get air leaks, you get water leaks. Don't forget, there were no paved roads when this thing was built, so going 35, 40 miles an hour, that's pretty good.
Well, it's plenty fast. And the throttle is the inner steering wheel.
Yeah.
And that's regulating the amount of steam.
Yeah, that's your throttle. The reason they have it that way is if you have a foot throttle and the steam got on the other side of the valve, you wouldn't be able to slow down. This, you're actually controlling, you're opening and closing a valve like a needle valve,
Wow.
so it can't stick on you.
Can you accelerate past or not with a red light?
Oh, all it does is accelerate past you.
We're doing the best we can. And this is pedal to the metal, basically.
Yeah, we need to get a little more steam pressure. Well, the garage is about 2 miles away. We should be there in about an hour and a half.
Hey, that works for me. And if we make it back alive, I'll be thrilled.
That's right. Hey, it's 100 years old and we're running down the road. If you have a little more fine tuning, she'll hit her top speed of 60 miles an hour. It's amazing it's 100 years old.
It's incredible. It's great to watch the thing run. That thing's huge.
This is the small version. There's
Yeah,
a 40 horse, which is twice as big.
It sort of looks like Santa's sleigh.
I know it does, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like Santa's sleigh out here. Just need a big white beard, Jay.
If Santa was scorching little kids to death, am I okay?
Yeah, just straighten it out and come straight back.
Oh man, what an unbelievable ride. And we actually made it back in one piece. I think I might be starting to come around to this whole steam power thing. Actually, pretty cool technology for the time. So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics, especially the steam-powered ones. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.